Hey friends, welcome back to my channel DIY Savvy Mommy, and welcome if you're new here. I'm Kshitij and I make DIYs, art, home decor and lifestyle videos, and today I'm making vintage garden DIYs. All the three DIYs are very easy to make and I hope you'll enjoy watching them. And do like and share and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy watching today's video. So without further ado, let's begin with DIY number 1. For the first DIY, I'm making a vintage bird bath, and for that I have taken aluminium foil and I'm going to make the bird also all by myself. You can use any bird figurine made of resin or silicone or whatever material that you have, or you can just DIY. I like to DIY everything on my channel, so I'm attempting to DIY a bird, and for that I've taken aluminium foil. I'm going to just squish it like so to make the body. So I've taken three parts. The first part I have rolled it in a cylindrical form to make the body, and the second one just like a small circle to make the head, and the last portion is just like a flap kind of thing to make the tail of the bird. And I'm going to join all the three portions, keeping the portions so that it looks and fixes like the figurine of a bird. And I'm going to hot glue all the three portions. Next, I'm going to take air dry clay and I'm going to roll it in a thin piece, and I'm going to cover these air dry clays on the various parts of the bird. So here you can see I'm covering the head first, and I'm going to just adjust the clay so that it fits around all the parts of the circle of the head, and make it really smooth so that everything looks nice and smooth and well shaped. Similarly, I'm going to roll some more clay into thin pieces, and I'm going to just cover the body of the bird entirely with these air dry clay. And slowly you can see that I'm covering the tail and everything front and back, and I'm being very gentle because I don't want to ruin the shape of the aluminium foil bird. And here you can see that slowly the bird is getting into shape. Likewise, I'm also going to make the wings of the birds, and for that also I have rolled clay and cut it into the wing shape. And then I'm going to glue these wings with the help of school glue. You need to glue the wings because air dry clay doesn't stick much, and it tends to come off. So for that I'm using glue. And I also made the eyes and beak of the bird, and I glued them with school glue. Now that my bird is ready, I'm going to make the bird bath, and for that I have taken this planter and I have spray painted it with the gold metallic paint and also the bird, and I have glued the bird on top of the planter and filled the planter with water, and my vintage bird bath is ready. You can see how cute it is looking, and it really enhances the beauty of any vintage garden. It's a vintage piece and I think it turned out gorgeous. Today I'm participating in the room by room challenge, and it's hosted by Devin from the Freckled Mom, and it's co-hosted by Favi from Arrows DIY. Both of them are superb creators, and I've linked their channels in the description box. Do check them out, they are amazing creators. And also check out the playlist for the other creators who have created vintage DIYs as well. And for DIY number 2, I'm making a vintage fairy garden, and I took a small plate and a cup and I'm going to use these two as a prop to make my fairy garden. So I am just elevating the terracotta cup that I have with the help of some air dry clay, so that it gives some elevation, so that the cup is placed nicely on the saucer. I secured the cup with the help of hot glue and also air dry clay, so that it is nicely fitting and snug on all sides and it doesn't move. And this is going to be the base and on which I'm going to work around for the fairy garden. I also made some small mushrooms with the help of air dry clay, and I let it dry for a while, and meanwhile I laid down soil onto the saucer and also on the terracotta cup. I use some pebbles to hide and secure everything, all the air dry clay and everything, so that everything looks finished up. And slowly I'm going to lay out the fairy garden, and for that I'm using small little items. I use some fox flowers and I'm going to glue it on the terracotta cup in such a way that it looks that they are falling off the cup, just like pouring off the cup. And for this reason I've used a little bit of elevation so that the downpour can be visible nicely. And the flowers, and I'm going to hot glue the flowers onto the pebbles and lay them out in such a way that the pouring visual can be nicely seen. Then I'm placing a picket fence around the entire circumference of the fairy garden that I've created. This picket fence gives a nice detail and a whimsical look to my fairy garden. And also I'm going to place a small figurine of the fairies, of a little boy and a little girl, or you can place fairies or whatever you have at hand. And I just placed it at one side of the fairy garden. The mushrooms that I had made earlier are already dry, so I colored them with red and white acrylic paint, and I'm going to place these mushrooms also, a very nice and cute addition to my fairy garden, and gives it a vintage touch, gives it a cottagecore touch also. And this is how my cute vintage fairy garden looks. So cute, magical, whimsical, and also vintage, because I've used the base as terracotta. So yeah, this is how it looks. I hope you like it. I think small fairy gardens are a great addition to any garden decor, and they look gorgeous. Moving on to DIY number 3, I have taken this terracotta planter and I'm going to paint it with the help of white acrylic paint. I did 2 coats of acrylic paint for a smooth finish, and I let the paint dry between coats. Once the white acrylic paint was completely dry, I have drawn these Moroccan patterns all over the planter, and I'm going to color it with the help of blue acrylic paint, and I'm going to replicate and make it into a blue pottery kind of planter. Blue pottery is really vintage, and I think every garden has at least one piece of blue pottery, and I simply love blue pottery. So I'm just attempting to replicate the blue pottery design, and for that I've chosen this pattern. You can choose any patterns all over the internet. There are various patterns that can be made into blue pottery. I think this is really easy and looks really pretty too. And I'm choosing the Moroccan pattern because it gives a nice a stenciled kind of look. I did 2 coats of the blue acrylic paint too, and I'm going to paint the top portion of the planter with the help of pearl metallic finish paint. And here my blue pottery planter is ready. It looks super gorgeous with the green neon pothos in it. So that's all for today's DIYs for the vintage garden. I hope you liked all the 3 DIYs. Do let me know in the comment section which out of the 3 was your favorite. Also, like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed watching today's video. Thanks a lot for watching, and I shall see you all very soon in the next video. Till then, bye bye and take care.